Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
It sounds like what they're doing is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
What? I didn't hear it the first time. You'll have to repeat yourself. Was it Willy Wonka says? I'm a trifle deaf in this ear. Speak a little louder next time. Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Try F Podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. So, today we are going to, hopefully, at least for a while, talk about Epstein one last time, and then we're going to move on. And then after that, we've got the Annabelle doll demon thing. May or may not have killed a man. And then, yeah. And then,
Possibility.
a vampire attacked an army, too. Those are the headlines. Not clickbait at all. So,
No
Yeah,
clickbait.
we're totally sincere. No, okay, so anyway. So let's start off with Trump.
Like and subscribe.
Oh, yes, like, subscribe, share, complain, comment, help us make money.
Can we get super chats? Is that a thing that happens after you're monetized?
I think we have to be
you gotta
monetized
wait
first.
Yeah, you gotta be legit. Gotcha.
Hey, but if you want to get money, we are working on it, maybe. So clear as a fart. Anyway, So all right. So this has been. So we're gonna start with the Jeffrey Epstein thing.
Who's that?
I have no idea. I just heard the name this week a lot. So this has been a crazy week. How do I got to tell the story in a clear, clean way. So let's start with last week when the Fed hacked our podcast and, destroyed it. We had to start over like 4 times. We're going to say the Fed, and when we say in Fed, we mean incompetence, but Fed sounds ominous, so we'll go with that.
CIA.
Yeah, CIA. So last week we were presented with two choices. We had Megyn Kelly being on one camp, or at least we presented Megyn Kelly's position, which was to say that this is all Pam Bondi's fault, this mishandling of the Epstein situation. And then incompetence. Yes, incompetence. She was the flag for the incompetence camp. And then we had the Alex Jones camp, who was going, no, Trump's made a deal with the CIA or the deep state or whoever that is, and he's taken the ring of power. That was the phrase we heard a lot. So where things look right now, and they are subject to change tomorrow and next week and so on, it looks like Jones was right about there being a deep state aspect to this, Trump making a deep state aspect of it, which is good because I had renounced my MAGA support thinking that this was all Trump making a deal or whatever. Or I think I said if Trump did do that, then I renounced the MAGA thing. Well, right now, it looks like he didn't. But at the same time, it was Trump pulling the strings, and so Pam Bondi can't entirely be blamed. Before I get into exactly what happened, though, I do want to say that my soul died a little. Because while all this was going on, you know, the podcasters were livid. But, and allow me to share my screen here. But it looks like my share screen is broken because everything is stupid. Give me like a second here. Here we go.
It's working.
Okay, great. So it looks like that during this entire debacle, according to CNN, of course it's CNN, but according to CNN, apparently Trump's poll numbers went up during all of this. And I only have one thought. Like, if that's actually true, like if Trump's approval ratings have went up during this whole Epstein debacle, I can only think of one thing to say.
They got hacked.
We all deserve to die. And they'll never...
Yeah. If people...
Copyright.
Yeah, about 5 seconds is about all I thought I could get away with. If people do not care about systemic child trafficking, this entire country deserves to go up in a mushroom cloud. There is nothing left to save. So I really hope that's not what's going on. Now, to be fair, it's entirely possible that people just don't know. Like they're not paying attention to what's going on. I hope that's the case, because if we really are that apathetic, this apathy is gonna like kill us all. So
yeah, that's the way it works.
Yeah, it was like the most depressing poll in the world. I was like, holy crap, we all deserve to die, and I've had that on a loop in my head over and over again. So
like the Oompa Loompas.
You laugh to keep from screaming. Anyway. So it's Trump wasn't in much of a better mood either, because at the beginning of the week, of course, we were all saying, boy, he's acting awfully guilty. And he kept doubling down. And this was his response. And let me read this here. I'll try to do a Trump impersonation here. The radical left Democrats have hit pay dirty again. Just like when the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the Line 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, which the Dems swore had come from Russia. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom. And even the Russia scam itself, a totally fake and made-up story used in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in 2016 presidential election. These scams and hoaxes are all the Democrats are good at. It's all they have. They are no good at governing, no good at policy, and no good at picking up winning candidates. And also, unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have bought into this bullshit hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years. I have had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history, and all these people want to talk about was strong prodding by the fake news, and the success-starved Democrats is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward to do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again.
Well done on the impression.
Thank you.
I'm glad you stuck that one through. That was perfect.
I was starting to build a stutter there. I was getting worried.
Yeah. I would have gave up halfway through, man. So Jeffrey Epstein was a hoax, huh? The whole thing was just Made up. The island's not even real.
Ghislaine Maxwell's in jail because of a hoax. I mean, obviously.
Nope, not even real. Not even real.
She doesn't even exist.
It's all a conspiracy. These people don't even exist.
Ghislaine Maxwell's existence is fake news.
They're all stuck in the Matrix.
So
Calm
we're
down,
sitting
Andrew
here
Tate.
going, yeah, oh my gosh. So this is what we call in literary circles the dark midnight of the soul. He was obviously calling people, his own supporters, weaklings, saying he didn't want their support anymore. And, you know, since I'd already renounced him last weekend, I was kind of sitting here thinking, all right, I'll oblige you, you jerk. But I calmed down a little bit. I was like, I did call him a stooge last weekend, so I guess he can call me a weakling. We'll just call it a wash.
You probably hurt his feelings.
Yeah, I probably heard his. Yeah, I'm sure he listens
he
to
watches
this one.
his stream. Yeah. Religiously every Saturday night.
Right, every Saturday. So he was kind of, you know, obviously very angry. But people kind of locked in on the hoax thing, and they were like, well, what are you talking about? Ghislaine Maxwell exists. So what do you mean hoax? It's not a hoax. These documents are real. Pam Bondi said, you know, that there's like terabytes of illicit material out there. Like, what do you mean it's a hoax? So everybody was kind of baffled by what he was talking about. And then we got our answer Thursday night. It was quite interesting, but it made everything make sense. So it was always a surprise that the FBI actually held on to all that data. You know, I kind of figured maybe they had so much that they didn't get to all of it or something, but I was wrong. Apparently they kept it for a very calculated reason. Did they
send it to Hillary in an email?
No, they did not send it to Hillary in the email. That would have been more efficient. No, what they did is they started putting poison pills. This is what it looks like so far. Again, today, as of this moment, this is what the situation looks like. It may be completely different tomorrow. So, anyway, what it looks like right now is that they put poison pills to try to blame Trump and create another Russia hoax, which is why they held on to all that information. Apparently, all that information that Pam Bondi grabbed from the Southern District of New York is like just downloaded kid porn and let's see what else. Oh, yeah. Just basically stuff to make Trump and his friends look bad. But here's the thing. Everybody thought that Trump was going to be implicated in this. Of course, when we say implicated, we're thinking like him running around in a buff with like a barely legal teenager or something, you know? That's not what they went with. They couldn't even bother with AI on this. What they went with is a poem. I kid you not. A poem. Shock jock poetry. I kid you not. This is how they're gonna bring the Donald down with a poem.
A poem.
Oh, it's
Do
beautiful.
we have this
It's
poem?
beautiful. Okay, so before we get let me set the mood first.
Dim the lights.
Oh, their switch is too far away.
All right, here we go, guys. Voiceover. There must be more to life than having everything, the note began. Donald. Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Jeffrey. Nor will I. I don't know what a PDF sounds like, so I'm going to Butthead.
Can you turn your volume down a little bit on the music?
Yeah, hang on a minute. I have no volume control of YouTube. All right, so, Jeffrey. Nor will I, since I also know what it is. Donald. We have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Jeffrey. Yes, we do, Donald. Come to think of it. Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret.
That's the poem?
That's the poem. Donald
Okay.
Duck is done. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over for him. This was the illicit material.
That's pretty wild.
This was the incriminating evidence that the Wall Street Journal got from the Justice Department. And I don't know what in the world is stupider. The fact that the Justice Department was stupid, or not the Justice Department, the Wall Street Journal was stupid enough to think this was going to bring Donald Duck down, or the fact that Donald Trump was freaking out about it for the last 2 weeks. I mean, like, I've been had like steam blowing out of my ears at this man for 2 weeks. I've been so furious with Donald Trump. But I took one look at that thing and I was like, oh, that's crap. Because Donald Trump has a myriad of flaws. Poetry is not one of them. So, I don't know what to be angry at. The fact that Donald Trump actually thought his supporters would buy that crap, or the fact that the Wall Street Journal was stupid enough to publish it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what construction worker, like what construction mogul in New York says Enigma? Enigmas never die. I mean, of all the stupid crap, and then they tried to make a big deal, like apparently Trump also doodled a naked lady on that poem.
Oh.
Yeah, scandalous. Scandalous.
Scandalous,
oh,
yeah.
My goodness.
I can't believe that. He should know what a naked woman looks like.
I know, being in his 40s at the time or whatever. So, so that's the situation so far. That Trump is apparently freaking out. Now, Alex Jones thinks that basically they're going to slow roll a bunch of quote unquote fake incriminating evidence on him over the next couple weeks. And so they've had their guys in the Justice Department basically sifting through the 40 terabytes left over by Maureen Comey. And that's the thing.
This is the most incriminating thing you can find?
Well, this is what they chose to lead with, which is humiliating. It probably ain't going to get better, even if there is more stuff. I mean, that's just... I just can't believe Trump was freaking out about that.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's like, it's a nothing burger.
Yeah. But he was like, so... Apparently... He was like so sure. This was the hoax, apparently, from what I understand. This was the hoax he was referring to. This is why he was calling it a hoax. This is why he was freaking out, because he thought that they were going to pull another Russia thing, which makes sense because Maureen Comey was the second person in charge, like the second banana, I guess you would say, in charge of all that material. And Maureen Comey is James Comey's daughter. But here's the thing about that. We mentioned her whenever they first raided the Southern District of New York and got the files in the first place. And I think, if I remember correctly, we all asked the question, why is Maureen Comey still there? Why didn't they fire her with the other guy who was the head?
Yeah.
Like, why? Well, apparently Donald Trump didn't even know she was there. And he didn't find out. Apparently, he didn't find out that she was there until like this week. And so they fired her.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's Pam
I find
Bondi's
it hard
thing.
to believe.
Well, Pam Bondi should have told him. That's why it's both of their fault. It's like Trump for trying to cover it up over nothing, and Pam Bondi is obviously holding out information on him.
How long's it been since James Comey got fired?
Oh, he's been gone for years and years and years.
So what? I mean...
Well, what they've been doing, the way that this blackmail racket thing works is... I don't know what James Comey had to do with it, but whenever one of these blackmail honeypot operations got caught, like with P. Diddy, they all went through Maureen Comey. The first Epstein case went through her, or I think that's right. The P. Diddy case went through her, I know that. And then the other, like the Ghislaine Maxwell case went through her. So they basically use the investigations as a way to cover up the evidence. So they amass everything and hide it at the Justice Department and then later destroy it.
Yeah.
So the good news is, after this whole thing came out anyway, Donald Trump is finally like, all right, have the grand jury, release all the evidence that was shown to the grand jury. Which is a good first step, but here's the problem. Since Maureen Comey led that investigation, she's already destroyed it. Her job is to basically wipe everything out before it goes to court. You know, basically Ghislaine Maxwell trafficked women to Jeffrey Epstein, which is barely a crime. And then P. Diddy trafficked women to himself.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how they've been doing it. Even though we all saw lewd pictures of J-Lo whenever they first arrested him, they leaked out, and then she's talking about, I think we should support Kamala immediately afterwards. Never mind that. No, all that got buried, and then P. Diddy was just trafficking a couple women to freak-offs or something. So, nothing to see here. But she's the woman that's responsible for the cover-ups. Like, so the evidence is probably already destroyed. Roger Stone did have a good suggestion, though. He suggested, like, subpoenaing. I don't know how to say that in the form of a verb.
Subpoena.
Yeah, get a subpoena for the search warrants, because it'd probably be pretty difficult to destroy, or edit the search warrants, because they had to have a search warrant to get the residence, and on
and
the search,
they got to fill out what they found, right?
Well, they got to fill out what they're looking for.
Okay.
So, and maybe they had to fill out what they found. And one of the two. Bottom line is, there's going to be a list, and it's going to be really hard to edit that list. Yeah. Because that's going to be, I guess, more on the local level, and maybe the feds won't get a hold of it. So he wanted to try to subpoena the search warrants, because she's obviously destroyed everything. And they did destroy stuff, and then they put a bunch of random garbage on there, some of which is meant to be poison pills to get Trump. And that's what they've been doing for the last 4 years. That's what it looks like right now. Again, this story could change tomorrow. And I believe Anna Paulina Luna is supposed to be on Roger.
Apparently it doesn't exist.
Yeah, nothing exists. Nothing exists. Yeah, and apparently Anna Paulina Luna is supposed to be on Roger Stone's show tomorrow. I think she has a whistleblower that's supposed to be talking about the FBI's involvement in all of this. So, kudos to Anna Paulina Luna. Man, she's like an MVP up there right now. So,
yeah, you're talking about my head. I don't know who any of these people are.
Sorry. All right, well, lame jokes and name dropping aside. That's it. That's where we're at. My attitude is kudos for at least trying to get the files out. But here's the thing. It's a liberal judge sitting on the files. Good luck getting them. So I'll believe it when I see it, because I'm sure Pam Bondi knows that too. But my opinion, of course, I don't know this, but my opinion is Pam Bondi's a Fed, like a spy turncoat type. Trump, according to Jones, doesn't want to get rid of her because he lost his attorney general in the first term, and that's when the Russiagate thing apparently really went nuts. But I think this time his attorney general is a bad actor, because I have a very hard time attributing things to stupidity. Maybe that's just me, but I'm like, man, stupid only goes so far, and she has bungled this in ways that just suggests a little bit more than being dumb. You know, like if you wanted to play this the worst way possible. And it also it makes you wonder how bubble wrapped, as it were, Trump is, and what exactly he's being told. Because for him to sit there and freak out and call it a hoax, and everybody go, "What are you talking about?" and then this come out a few days later, it makes it seem like his attention has been focused on keeping the Wall Street Journal from doing the hit piece, rather than just getting the documents out to figure out what was going on. Does that make sense? Like he figured, like they've had him focused on the trap, and he hasn't been paying very close attention to anything else or any other aspect. Because if the question is, are our taxpayer dollars going to child trafficking? That's what we want to know. And you could figure that out by basically solving the mystery of where Epstein's money came from. Like, you don't even necessarily have to look at all the illicit material or go through that. Just look at his financial records and track that. Because this guy was not a genius. You know, Eric Weinstein said he didn't know anything about finances and whatnot, and whenever Epstein met with him. So that was one of the things that made Eric Weinstein think he was a Fed, was that he just didn't know what he was talking about when it came to money. So follow the money.
Are they having a Steam convention or what?
A Steam convention.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Epstein.
Oh.
Weinstein.
Oh.
Were the Bernstein Bears there?
Ha, 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 ha.
Is that the sound that Steens make?
I don't know. Stop it. Anyway, so you follow the money. You could at least answer how deep the Fed was in this. And of course, but the only way, I don't see how Trump couldn't know that unless his attention was getting diverted. And I think she's the one diverting his attention, because she's been the one running around lying. She's been the one caught in a bunch of lies. I just think it's her, and I just have a hard time believing it's incompetence. Now, Trump did shut down the investigation. That's true, but I think it's as a result of what she's been telling him.
Sure.
It's my opinion. But I don't know, and the whole thing could change tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's a lot of people just making excuses and doubling down on stuff that doesn't need to be doubled down on.
I have learned to really hate podcasting media as well as regular media now, too, because everybody in the dog this entire week has been going, I was right all along. I knew it. Like, no matter what the outcome was, everybody just knew it all along. Like, everybody. It's like, oh my gosh.
Everybody knew about COVID all along.
Yeah.
I never wore a mask. Not even once.
I mean, I love Jones, but Jones was wrong. He said Trump had made a deal with the Fed. And it's like, no, he was freaking out about some stupid newspaper because he's a boomer. He's a boomer, and the Wall Street Journal he thinks is still authoritative. Nobody cares. They use it for parrot stool, but, you know, he thinks it's relevant. So he was freaking out about the Wall Street Journal publishing a hit piece, and that's why he was mad. He didn't make a deal with the Fed. He's just a boomer. So.
I mean, he's historically taken criticism pretty well, but
yeah, but the Russia
maybe he
hoax
just
thing.
didn't know. Maybe he knows he did some dirty shit at Epstein's, and he didn't know what they were going to release, so he was scared.
I think he probably doesn't even remember what all he did.
Probably not.
And so it's like, I don't think I did anything, but it was like 30, 40 years ago. And the guy had cameras everywhere. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't necessarily have to do anything. He's just got to be in the same room as somebody who claimed that he did something. You know what I mean? Like, the liberal media still owns all the institutions, so the bar has to be can be so minuscule for him. Just, it could be anything. Good thing they're stupid. And they write shock jock poetry. I couldn't decide whether to go with cello music or bongo drums when reading that poem. It's one of the dumbest things I ever heard.
You could have mashed them together.
I could have meshed them together, yeah. So I don't know how this is gonna play out. If I don't see that dad blame grand jury file, because I'm kind of still suspecting them of slow rolling everything. You know, they're going to go, oh, hey, judge, give us the files. And the judge is going to be like, no. And they're going to be like, K. And then that's going to be the end of it. If that happens, the Three Stooges logo is replacing the Faith Fiction Folklore logo on the overlay. And it's going to stay there until those files come out.
Yeah, it's all silly, man. Probably a distraction for something else.
I don't know. I do think this is the heart of it. This is the heart of the blackmail racket. This is how the CIA and Mossad and MI6 and all of them stay the practice.
You think so? You think the whole Fed goes down if the truth comes out about this thing?
I don't know if it goes down, but we expose their method of operation, which I think will be very useful for people that are not us. So I think exposing the MOP, and my fantasy would be that we get some sort of irrefutable proof of whatever's going on, because I really just want to shut these people up that call everything in the dog a conspiracy theorist or a conspiracy theory. I'm like, dude, it's not a conspiracy theory. Like, if you read history, like what's happening right now, and it makes so much sense. Like, none of this is like incomprehensible. None of it's weird. And honestly, the conspiracy theory people just have the theory that most closely aligns with, like, historical patterns. Like the weird esoteric cult stuff. Well, if you study the freaking British royalty, they've been into that weird crap since like the 1830s. You know? I mean, the eugenics cult, that was kind of that was Darwin. It was kind of Francis Galton, before him, Darwin, Ernest Haeckel. But there's like a whole train of people that go back again to the German rationalist movement in the 1830s. Bottom line, what I'm saying is this stuff all has a historical precedent. And once you understand it's the same 5 freaking inbred families doing the same crap over and over again for 100 years, you start to understand, oh yeah, this is exactly what's going on because this is what they've always done.
No
Like
doubt.
the Steins.
Not the
Steins,
Steins. Yeah, not the Steins. Or Steens or whatever. I'm thinking King Charles and his demon faces. But anyway.
Lord Jacob Rothschild.
Yeah, Rothschild, him too.
If you know their names, they're not in charge of anything, but
I don't know who would secretly be the puppet master if not. I think it's oligarchs and bankers.
well, yeah, I think
know.
you're right, but
I think
we'll never know their names.
this is what I can't decide. I can't figure out if it's a smoke-filled room or just a common kind of demonic, if you will, ideology. Because both kind of make sense in my head. Either it's one small group of people or it's the same ideology manifesting over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, honestly.
So,
I've heard out of the 12 royal bloodline families or whatever you want to call them, the Saint Germains have been the only ones that have not served evil. I could be off on that, but I feel like I've heard that.
well, who are the Saint Germains?
You never heard of Saint Germain?
No, I haven't.
So what's his name? Trevor, what's his name? His first name?
Travis.
No, that's not it. I forgot it. The Saint Germains were a royal family, and Saint Germain is rumored to be a vampire because he's like incredibly smart and he's
Oh yeah, that guy.
he's been around forever.
I don't recall.
Yeah,
I'll have to look
it's
into
pretty
this
interesting
figure.
to look into.
Yeah, that sounds like a rabbit hole. So we got a vampire that's ruling the world.
Yeah, but he actually gives out like medical advice, not medical advice, but medical advice. You know.
So is this guy? So you're saying this guy's a
tinctures
good force for good or force for evil? What do you think?
A force for good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, as far as like those historical 12 bloodline families, whatever the hell you want to call them, I think it's all in Tragedy and Hope.
I haven't read Tragedy and Hope yet. I need to. What was it? Who? Jay Dyer was recommending that.
Yeah.
Jakku?
That book's
Saint
like
Germain?
this long, like this wide.
Ugh.
Oh.
That sounds like a
Count of
nightmare.
Saint Germain?
Count of Saint Germain.
Count
Yeah.
Saint Germain. Jakku Germain.
Yeah. Jacque.
Jock.
Huh.
Jock. Yeah. Jacques Clouseau.
Of New Orleans.
Inspector Clouseau. Hamburger.
Boy, that Steve Martin version was terrible. So,
What? That was the best one.
Peter Sellers is the Pink Panther. Period. Period, sir. Steve Martin was a chump.
Oh, French people.
Oh, man. It's okay. It's not cultural appropriation if they're white. So,
Right.
okay. So that was nice and depressing. I guess we're gonna call that subject good. I hope the files come out and we can look over it and figure out what happened. And because we're not letting it go. I made a vow when Virginia Guffrey died. I'm like, we're not letting it go because I was
It's still a pipe dream,
furious about that.
whether you want to let it go or not. You're never gonna see it.
I defy you, stars. So
Father, can a man change his stars?
I don't get that reference.
Knight's Tale, man. Come
Knight's
on.
Tale.
Oh, yeah. That's a good movie. Gosh. All right, anyway. Guys, we're going to call this one good. This is the end of part 1. If you're on the live stream, stay with us.
That's one.
Has anybody checked the lag? Are we
Yeah,
okay?
I've been unmuting it. And
Well, how are we doing?
it sounds good from my end.
Okay, so we're not like, talking 30 seconds after the video again.
Yeah, we're good, man.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, sounds good. Looks good.
Probably 20 seconds behind. But...
I guess the Fed got bored with us. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that being all said, if you're on the live stream, stay with us. We're going on to the next segment. If you're watching this after the fact, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. All right. Somebody else kick off too. Trevor, this is your baby, so lead us in.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or the Triad Podcast, where we try not to have things up. How you guys doing?
Doing
Good.
well.
Part 1 was still in the 30-minute range. We made a goal. Yay.
Heck yeah.
So,
Set a
all
goal
right.
Because
and
there was
made
nothing to talk about. Because Epstein doesn't exist, apparently.
He's still alive. Oh, that was another thing I forgot to bring up. Did you realize they have drone footage of him, apparently, hiding under a car because he's going, oh, crap, a drone. It's hysterical. So, I don't know if it's real, but it's funny. So, anyway. Sorry, Trevor, go on. Lead us in. What are we talking about today on this one, on this segment?
We're going to talk about the paranormal investigator, Dan Rivera. He passed away, sadly. If you know about the Annabelle doll, this was the guy that drove her around when they went on tour. But anyways, I thought we'd look at just a video on his story and what happened. As far as I know, they're still working on how he passed. They don't know. But it was the very end of their tour when he passed. And,
What tour? They drove around a haunted doll?
Yeah, they drive around the Annabelle doll and a few other paranormal things. And this is the guy that Ed and Lorraine Warrens. If you know about the Warrens, they kind of left him in charge of their museum and the dolls and whatnot. But anyways, if you want to pull that video up, Gary,
Okay. All right.
we'll play
Yes.
it.
So either, well, we'll just see. We'll just see. So is this the right timestamp? 6:55.
That's where I was looking at.
Okay.
Just go ahead and start it from the beginning.
From the beginning.
Started at 6 minutes and 66 seconds.
I will
You
not,
can do that.
sir. That's physically impossible.
But,
Hey Ryan, we got more work to do. Again.
A well-known paranormal investigator died just hours after leading a sold-out event featuring one of the most infamous haunted objects in the world, the Annabelle doll. It happened in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. While officials say there's no foul play, the timing has reignited a lot of dark speculation. We're going to break down what we know.
And there was a doll with a butcher knife, but we really didn't think anything of it at the time.
Ducky doesn't count
right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. I'm telling you right now, this isn't the kind of story that we usually cover on Sidebar, but I gotta say, this is so chilling, so strange, so mysterious. We have to talk about it. We have to cover it. We often say some of the stories that we cover feel like they come straight out of a horror movie. This one, it is kind of like a horror movie. It ended in tragedy. What was supposed to be a sold-out 3-day paranormal event in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, took a very dark and unexpected turn. Dan Rivera, a 54-year-old U.S. Army veteran and well-known paranormal investigator, died suddenly, out of nowhere, on the evening of July 13th, just hours after concluding his devil's...
I'm sorry, anytime I hear the phrase die suddenly, I just assume COVID, but...
Yeah,
sorry.
no, he died in his hotel room and he didn't have any heart issues or nothing like that. He just died.
So they don't know.
Did
They,
you get vaccinated by chance?
that's what I'm asking.
not
I'm like,
sure.
oh, come on,
That's
you
a
know.
good question. I'm not sure.
Shot heard around the world, you know. So, yeah, we need to know if there was a heart attack involved, because that would give us a hint, possibly.
Yeah.
Johnson & Johnson, they care about you. Brought to you by Pfizer.
which featured none other than the infamous, allegedly demon-possessed Annabelle doll. Now, if you've seen any of the Conjuring films or the 2014 movie Annabelle, you already know just how unsettling this doll's reputation is. Over the years, it's been tied to countless eerie and inexplicable incidents, and we're going to get into that a little bit later, but what makes Rivera's death especially disturbing is just how sudden and strangely timed it was. According to Adams County dispatch logs, emergency responders were called to a hotel in Gettysburg at around 8 p.m. on Sunday, July 13th, after someone reported CPR being performed on a man matching Rivera's description. And despite attempts to revive him, Rivera was pronounced dead shortly after. The Adams County Coroner's Office has confirmed that the death is not being treated as suspicious, though the exact cause remains pending, as autopsy results could take 60 to 90 days. But Rivera was the lead investigator for the New England Society for Psychic Research. It's called NESPR. And by the way, this is the same organization that was founded by legendary ghost hunters Ed and Lorraine Warren. He had just wrapped a 3-day showcase of the Annabelle doll at the historic Soldiers National Orphanage in Gettysburg, hosted by Ghostly Images of Gettysburg Tours. Now, the event was a hit. It drew massive crowds. Over 1,260 tickets were sold to see Annabelle.
I'll be right back,
and other
guys.
haunted relics from the Warrens Occult Museum. But according to the Evening
Hang on, let me
Sun,
turn off my camera.
Rivera took precautions to safely display the doll, building a protective case around it, encasing it, by the way, with 3 crosses and vials of holy water. Here's, by the way, how the official tour description put it. Quote, "The Devils on the Run tour is a chilling experience that brings the tales of famed ghost hunters Ed and Lorraine Warren's investigations to life. This tour offers a chance to delve deep into some of the darkest aspects of paranormal activity, including the entities and haunted objects the Warrens encountered during their decades-long career. One of the tour's key highlights is the infamous Annabelle doll, which, despite its seemingly innocent appearance, has been the cause of numerous terrifying incidents. The doll has reportedly brought misfortune, injury, and even death to those who have interacted with it improperly. The Devils on the Run tour takes participants to some of the most haunted places in America, and as part of its special events, it will feature locations like the haunted historic Soldiers Orphanage homestead in Gettysburg, where the spirits of the past still linger. This stop along the Devils on the Run tour will feature not just the Annabelle doll, but a couple of other haunted relics from the Warrens Occult Museum. So as you know, we're always writing a lot of sidebars here. We're researching, we're doing breaking news, and I am constantly on the run. And I get
Okay, what'd I miss? What happened?
Not much.
Not much?
He's telling a story about how the who the Warrens were, and the Annabelle was part of their collection of haunted items.
Kind of a backstory, if you will.
Okay. Trevor, is there anything in particular with this video you're wanting to react to or mention? You have a timestamp you have for us?
No, I was just gonna show you guys what was going on.
Okay.
It's just, it's crazy how he passed away right after the tour was basically over.
Yeah.
And another part of it was, this is the same tour that they went to Texas first, when everything in Texas was happening.
Mm.
The flood and the
remember
blue
you mentioned
water
that.
stuff, all that stuff happening. They were in Texas at the time, and then they went to Gettysburg for the last part of their tour, and this happened. So, it's all speculation and just guesswork, but
You think the doll did all that?
it's a possibility.
Think it's possible?
Or whatever's tied to it.
Plutonium in the cotton? Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like you've heard of like what's the style of haunting where it's like resonance, it's like stuck in the walls, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that's called.
Could be.
But
What's
I
that
mean,
called?
yeah, a specific vibration that doll's like putting off. You know, it could cause magnetic
They
disturbance.
do a full deal for the doll, when they transfer it from its main case back at the museum into that traveling case, they have to do a full ritual.
I
Pray
would.
over it, and they pour holy water on it and all sorts of
Does
stuff.
it mold?
Well, not directly on the doll. Like they do like something.
Well, yeah,
special.
they wouldn't pour it directly on the doll. That would get rid of the demon, and then their shtick would be over. Well, good night, God. We want a little help, but not too much. So.
Right, not too much.
But anyways, if you want to pull up that last video.
Yeah, sorry, I'm poking at these guys. All right.
Oh, that's Casper's site. I wanted to give him a shout out. He's just the one I heard it from.
Oh, okay.
So that's just him talking about it.
All right. Do you want me to?
And then pull up the next one.
Oh, you want the next one? Okay.
So this was his podcast called Seekers of the Supernatural.
Okay.
And this was his last podcast before he passed. So if you want to play a minute or two of it, we can.
Yeah. All right.
Facebook groups so they could interpret them. It was crazy. They say they are all mixed of 2 or 3 ancient dead languages.
Well, what does that tell you?
It could manipulate AI.
Can you tell Shannon what where
was this? Well, she was from Germany, and Jimmy and I and the production team were working on a case over there to help this young lady to have an exorcism performed. But during that time, COVID had hit, and we couldn't proceed with that. And I just don't know where it went from there.
That was right before COVID.
Right before COVID. Then COVID hit. Right. Because we spent, I think it was like 2 years working with this lady. I even sent somebody from Italy to her house to, interview her.
I remember.
You remember that? Francisco, I think that was. I sent over there. And she came under possession while he was there. And he documented everything. So yeah, that was a crazy case.
Now, weren't they going to?
Anyways,
try to.
You want to pause it?
Yeah.
That was Dan. I'm just telling a story. They have a lot more on their official Ed and Lorraine channel there,
which is right here.
If you want to go ahead and click on that channel.
Yeah, let's see if we can get the actual story of the doll. Oh, that is loud. All right.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. We could go over that.
Yeah, let's see.
This is Ed talking about the doll herself.
Yeah, tells a real story of Annabelle. Must watch. Super exciting.
That's Tony Sparza. He runs all their moderation stuff. He's kind of the behind the scenes type guy that makes everything work out.
Makes everything
manager,
work,
if you will.
Okay. I just heard the 70s music and got angry because I hate the 70s. But anyway.
Yeah, this is Tony doing an interview with Ed and Lorraine.
Okay.
A brand new program of Seekers of the Supernatural. I'm your moderator, Tony Sparrow, along tonight with Ed Warren and Lorraine Warren, famous ghost hunters. It's a new year. It's a new show. We have new cases. But for those who perhaps aren't very familiar with Ed and Lorraine Warren, what we'd like to do, like I said, it is a new year. It's the year 2000. We'd like to talk to Ed and Lorraine regarding how they started, how long they've been in this business, what they think of the new millennium, things to come. So what I'd like to do is start out with you, Lorraine.
Mm-hmm.
If you could tell us how you and Ed began the work and how long ago it was.
Wow. It's a long time, Tony. It was over 50 years ago that we began as husband and wife to do it. Not long after Ed came home, after serving in World War II, he began talking about that home he grew up in Bridgeport. Began talking about the hauntings that had occurred there. That was really hard for me to accept that. I had never been in a haunted home, but I always had something about myself I didn't understand, and that was an ability to know things through extrasensory perception. But I suppressed those feelings, Tony, to a great extent because there really was no one I could share them with. Now, with Ed, it was important to him to satisfy his curiosity regarding that house that he grew up in. Did other families really experience the types of things that he experienced? And as artist, because he was now studying art and already beginning to sell his paintings very early on in his career after getting out of the service, within the first couple of years.
Let me ask you, you said you had the ability to know things.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that, and what year, how old were you?
It started about 9, Tony, that I had the ability to, I could see lights around people and know things about these people, but I didn't quite understand it. But I always had tremendous faith. I still do. I always felt that through prayer, anything could be changed if it was God's will, anything could be helped, and I always relied on that. But I didn't understand what I experienced. Also, the night I met my husband, and I knew I was going to spend my life with him, I fully did not understand that. That was my first outstanding thing that happened in my young adult life.
Now, let me interrupt for one moment. Ed, I'd like you to address that. Well, you got to understand, Tony, that there was a lot of confusion when I was small because my father...
Yeah, we need to find...
At that time.
The actual story starts about 15 minutes in.
Oh, you should have led with the timestamp, Trevor. We're hearing everybody's backstories here, and it's like, whoa.
The one time he's actually had a timestamp ready, he just didn't.
He just didn't mention it. We love you, Trevor.
Well, I
I
actually
never
had
had
to look
timestamps
at
either, so.
I actually had to look it up real quick.
Oh, you had to look it up. Okay, well, good man, good man. Okay.
At least you were holding out on it.
He did it on purpose to make these jerks sit through the whole video.
Yes, I was going to. Yep.
Make fun of me. How dare you?
This isn't the very beginning of the story because it's mixed in somewhere in their introduction, but
okay,
this is some of it.
Okay, all right.
Really witness that when people have
They actually see the spirit leave?
They actually see the spirit leave a person at the moment of death. But to experience that while you are still very much alive.
I know, that must be great.
It
It's
is.
just a transition from this physical body into the spirit world. But
I have no idea if this story is true, but I believe it. There was this atheist or really angry guy who came out of South America. And I don't know why that spirit leaving the body thing jogged my memory on it. But he was talking about how he grew up in this poor village. And a man in the community had died in his village. And he went to the funeral with his family and everybody was there. And they're all praying for this guy to come back to life. And they're begging and begging and begging. Well, he does. And then nobody would talk to that guy again because he was like the devil because he came back to life. So, yeah. I don't know. I just kind of find that it's like...
Amazing how people fear what they don't understand.
Well, it's just like, God did you a solid and you shun the guy? I'm just saying. I mean, it's just
Nobody knows what the heck they want. That's why I say to not pray for things, bro.
It was the wrath of the Almighty is getting exactly what you ask for.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, the saying, be careful what you wish for, be careful what you pray for.
Yeah. Right. I hope that's not true because I want the things I ask for, but maybe, I don't know, maybe they're not good for me. I don't know. Anyway.
It made me think of, have you seen Charlie Countryman?
Uh-uh.
Shia LaBeouf.
Uh-uh.
Oh, it's a great movie. Great movie.
Shia LaBeouf's a monk like now.
A monk?
I think he's a monk now.
Yeah, he's a monk.
Nice. Yeah, he gave up Hollywood and became a monk.
I think I actually have a video on him.
It's like
talking about his monkism.
It's like, hey, you got out, buddy. Good for you.
In this movie, his mom dies, and he's like, he can see dead people, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
He can talk to dead people.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of the premise of the movie. But in that movie, she's like, her spirit like comes out of her mouth, it's like a little blue wisp.
Huh.
It's pretty cool.
Maybe that's what people are talking.
Pretty cool
these
movie.
guys are talking
You
about.
should watch it.
All right. We'll see.
It's one of my faves.
Cool beans. All right, let's see if we can find out about this doll.
Doll.
It was like my brother, who died recently. He was interested to a certain extent. And I never found out why he was never home at night until 2 days before he died. I said, Frank, where were you all those nights? I said, I'd be home alone. My parents wouldn't be there. My sister wasn't there. He wouldn't be there. I said, where were you? He said, I never wanted to tell you. He said, but I wasn't going to be in that house.
Wow.
He said, my room was right at the head of the stairs where the door would open up and the footsteps would come up. And he said how he would see this white glow. He said, I wasn't going to stay in that house, but I didn't find that out until 2 days before he died. He never told me about it. You know, that's really a long time ago that you guys started out, but I know you've had thousands literally of cases.
Oh, God, yes.
And I also know that you have a museum on your property.
Yes.
Now, Ed, would you want to just tell a little bit about some of the things, perhaps, that are in that museum that are really fascinating, scary things, perhaps, that you've collected over the years? All right. I think one of the most famous would be Annabelle. This is a Raggedy Ann doll that's made like thousands of other dolls, except that this doll was used in communication, almost like having a seance. A nurse had received the doll, 1971, as a present, Christmas present from her mother. And the doll stands about 3 foot high. And she would take it to bed with her at night. That's common enough for girls to do. I take a pillow. Some people take a doll. Girls would like that, even 28-year-old ones. And after a few nights, she lived with another girl who was a nurse, both of them St. Hartford, or Hartford Hospital.
Was Hartford Hospital? It was Hartford Hospital, honey.
And they were on the same shift, and so they worked together, they lived together, they shared the expenses. And one morning she got this idea to bring the doll from the bedroom into the kitchen where they were having breakfast, and she put it in a chair. And she said, oh, Raggedy Ann here's going to have breakfast with us today, joking around. Okay, well, that was a joke. Then, the next thing,
Bless you.
the next thing, she brought it down again the next morning, and the next morning. But the third morning, they're talking to the doll, and the arms of the doll are on the chair like this. Suddenly, they went up and onto the table. Now, this didn't frighten them. This intrigued them to the extent that the one nurse said to the other one of the nurses knows a medium. Let's ask her about this. I'll bet you there's a spirit in that doll. That's what they did. They asked this nurse about it, and she said, yeah. She said, I know a woman who is a medium. I'll bring her over, and we'll hold a seance. It was a joke, just a game. But it didn't turn out to be a game. It turned out to be one of the most horrifying experiences they'd ever have in their life. And I've talked with people just recently, as recent as 2 months ago, who know the two nurses. And even today, they don't like to talk about it. They'll never come to our lectures. They don't want to talk about Raggedy Ann, Annabelle at all. So now the woman holds a seance, and she said, there's a spirit of a 6-year-old girl in that doll who was killed in an automobile accident just outside of your apartment house here. Well, there was a 6-year-old child by the name of Annabelle who was killed. But God does not allow the spirit of a child to go into a doll. This was a demon who was posing as that little child to create sympathy to these two young women, which it did. Now this was no longer a doll. This was a child. They would take it for rides. They'd talk to it. They'd buy clothing for it, jewelry. They treated it just as though it was that little girl who was killed, Annabelle. Now they were giving it a lot of recognition. Soon after the first seance, things would happen in their house, what we refer to as infestation. There'd be knocking sounds. They'd see flashing lights in their bedroom at night, shooting across the room. The bed would shake a little bit. It would get icy cold. They'd hear whispering, which we call magic whispering. Now, from time to time, these girls would change shifts, but they're getting a little scared now. So they decided to stay on the same shift all the time, 4 to 12. They'd leave the doll in the bedroom. They'd come home after midnight, put the key in the door, unlock the door, and who do you think is standing there? The Raggedy Ann doll. Standing there. Now, that doll has flimsy legs.
Yeah.
You try to stand it up, you can't. I've seen that doll stand. I've seen a lot of things happen around that doll. Well, this still didn't scare them. But one of the fiancés of one of the girls was against all of this. He said, burn the doll, throw it away, get rid of it. It's evil.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, why didn't you burn it with fire?
Yeah.
What are you doing keeping it? Why do you think
Curiosity.
a 6-year-old kid would want to stay in a doll? It's like, you need to leave. Get out of that thing. It ain't good for you. Good.
Yeah.
Not, even if you were to believe the premise, why would you? It's like, kids, you can't live in a Raggedy Ann doll. Go somewhere. Go to heaven. Go.
So is sympathy evil? Is that the moral of the story?
The moral of the story is these nurses shouldn't have went to college. Only college creates that stupid. So.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Well, he falls asleep one afternoon, a Saturday, and the doll is in a chair not far from him, and the girls are cleaning up the apartment. He wakes up with a start. He said, my God, what a nightmare. He said, I dreamt that that doll was strangling me. He had marks on his throat. Was it psychosomatic? Well, let's see. He gets up, he looks at the doll in the chair, picks it up, and throws it right across the room. You're nothing but a rag doll. You couldn't hurt anyone. With that, Tony, 7 psychic slashes appear on his body. Wow. Now, we've seen these kind of slashes. We've filmed them. These slashes come from nowheres. The blood came right through his shirt. The nurses witnessed this. Then, a huge chair rolled across the room. Pictures on the walls came off, started smashing and breaking. Loud pounding sounds. Now they were all frightened. They called the High Episcopal Canon in Hartford, Connecticut. He called Father Richard Nolan, an exorcist, and Father Nolan called us. We went to the apartment. Exorcism was performed immediately over the people, the 3 people, and the apartment. I brought that doll back to my museum. Now, why would I have something like that in a museum? Evidence, proof. The skeptics, the atheists, the first thing they attack you with is, where's the evidence? Where's the proof? This never happened. I not only have the doll, I have film, I have recordings, I have eyewitness accounts from credible people who have seen these phenomena happen in and around that doll. A priest comes to my home one day, young fella, has his rectory right here in Connecticut. Ed, I'd like to take you and Lorraine for a ride in my new car. Very proud of it. We went with him. When he took us back, he said, what about this doll everybody's talking about? Because we had shown it on Channel 18, on a TV show we're on. Could I see it? I understand it puts slashes on people. I brought him into the museum. It's in a chair. He looks at it. Just like the guy in Hartford. He walks right over to it, never said a word, picked it up and threw it right across the room. God is more powerful than a devil. I said, yes, Father. God is more powerful than millions of devils. But he wasn't. He found that out. Less than an hour later, driving home on Route 84, his brand new car went out of control. I know what he's talking about because the same thing happened to Lorraine and I when we talked about Amityville one time on Route 84. You can't control the car. Half of his car was sheared off by a tractor-trailer truck. He should have been killed, but he lived. God will only let the devil go so far. The last thing he remembered seeing was the image of that doll. Well, then a
creepy, isn't it?
Well, let's talk about that, just hypothetically speaking here for a minute. So, should he, Cody, I'll pose this question to you. Should he keep the doll with the demon in it in the name of evidence?
I wouldn't, but I will say I feel like so when these guys pick this doll up and throw it, they're giving it power. Like that's belief. Like the act of taking that and throwing it and saying God's better than you, blah blah blah. That's belief, right? And so
Yeah.
that's going to sit in the back of their mind and grow and grow and grow. And it's a seed, and I think that's how it gets you. Like if you were to just not give it any credibility at all,
Yeah.
by just don't even say anything, like, you know, physically. And you could have your thoughts and you could ignore them, but once you pick that doll up and throw it across the room, you're giving it power. And I think it's like the girl's belief that it was a little girl that, you know, gave that demon enough power to start acting out in the physical realm.
Trevor, what about you?
I agree. But yeah, on this channel, there's the Ed and Lorraine Warren channel there. Tony, that other guy sitting there, takes people on tours through the museum, and there's a lot more other stuff that's got attachments to them. And he tells people don't touch anything. So I'm kind of on the same thought level as Cody there. If you give it power, it's gonna have power. If you don't give it any power, then it's just an idol, if you will. It's just a whatever it is, inanimate object, a doll.
Mm-hmm.
And it only gets power when you give it the power in your mind to do anything.
Simply put, demons feed on negative energy. So if you give it any kind of negative energy at all, it's going to use it.
I'm reminded, because I do agree with you guys, I'm reminded of that story with, can't remember, it's an Acts, but these guys go up to challenge a demon. And the demon, they say, in the name of Paul the Apostle, you know, get out of this person. Yeah. And the demon's
Didn't
like,
work, huh?
I know Christ, I know Paul, but who are you? And then strips him naked, beats him up, and sends him on their way. So, yeah, I wouldn't just casually go in there and challenge it. You challenge it with the name of Christ. You have the authority to use Christ's name, but that doesn't mean you should bow up. Like, because you're right, it does feed off. If you speak to it, if you interact with it, you're feeding it.
Yeah.
And as for evidence, my experience has been people generally, like, you should still do arguments, you should still make your case on things, but generally speaking, people don't care about evidence. They say they do because they know they're supposed to, but I mean,
when you show them evidence, they still are like,
well, I
that's
mean,
not real.
think back in your own experiences. I certainly think back on mine, and I'm like, how long did it flip and take me to even admit that what was going on was actually going on?
Right.
It took years before I finally admitted my stuff was real. And I imagine that's the case for most people.
Yeah.
So it's not really a matter of evidence. There's usually emotional stuff that keeps people from believing or not believing something.
Yeah, some people go their whole lives and they don't believe in any of it ever.
Yeah. Well, it's just like that story of the rich man and Lazarus, you know. It's like if they have the law and the prophets, if they don't believe them, they're not going to believe it if their brother comes back or somebody comes back and preaches it to them directly. Like, evidence ultimately isn't what persuades people. Yeah. So all you've got is a bunch of cursed objects, and they're going to cause mischief. So I just burn them with fire. Like, you don't need evidence that bad. So,
yeah.
I was watching a show. I can't remember what it's called. It's got Tom Hardy in it, and he's it's like late 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like in this dock town.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the show's called, but he goes down and he's like talking to a demon, and he said something that I've actually applied in my own life. Like, the only thing you can really say, like, if you're going to out loud talk to a demon, He says, I have no guilt or shame to give you. And that's their food, right? So it's like they can't exist, they can't do anything if you don't feed them. So like when you don't feel guilty about anything, like they can't bother you, you know. Like if you feel bad about something, the more you feel bad about it, the more it affects you. Right.
I agree.
I do think I have to chew on that a little bit, but I think I at least agree in part.
Did it
I
taste
thought
good?
that line was really good though. I have no guilt or shame to give you.
That is a good line.
I'll have to think about it.
And Jesus did tell us to think on these things.
Yeah, I have to chew on. Yeah.
Think on Tom Hardy quotes is the actual Jesus quote.
There you go. So, okay, gentlemen, that's part 2. We're ready to move on.
Tom Hardy is my cousin, and him I am well pleased.
That was good. That got me. Okay. All right. If you're on the live stream, keep watching. We got one more segment left. If you are watching this after the fact, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.
On to part 3.
Part 3?
Yeah. Trevor, this is your buddy, too.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Are we starting? Army and the Vampire.
Are we starting at the beginning of this one, or do you have a timestamp for it?
2:30.
2:30.
That'll skip the whole introduction.
I gave it away, sorry.
Okay.
Can we do the intro?
Yes, you do the intro, Cody. Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or the Tri-F podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. Today, we are talking about the Austrian army fighting a vampire. I immediately imagined Van Helsing with that one gay guy. I can't remember his name.
Hugh Jackman. That's a great movie. I'm fantastic. I'm filled with fond memories of watching that movie on the Fox channel over and over and over.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Let's do this documentary. Let's watch that movie.
Trevor, how are you?
Oh, man.
All right. Trevor's got a vampire hat.
A what?
You got a vampire hat?
That's.
Oh, you want to see it?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, wait. It's the other side.
Does it really have vampires on it?
Oh, it's got lights.
Oh. It's to scare the vampires away.
Yeah, it's got garlic all over it, too.
Based.
You guys will make it in a horror film, I promise. All right.
Oh, hey, vampire. Come bite me, please.
Dude, I just think that would suck. I think if people were actually turned into vampires, they'd probably die after like a week.
They would suck.
Oh, I did make a pun. I didn't even know it. That's fantastic.
Suck your blood. I want to suck your blood.
Because I just kind of figure most of them, wake up, after 3 days later or whatever it is. They're like, I'm a vampire. I get to live forever. They break out of their coffin and then just dig out of the ground and immediately roast in the sun because they turned during the day.
Oops.
Oops. Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, that's some pretty vital rules and stipulations you have to abide by there.
Yeah, it's a pretty strict code. It's like I can't even get to work on time. I wouldn't make it.
Oh, the sun's in my eyes on my drive. Oh, I'm dead.
You don't want to be late in that world. Anyway. Okay, well, I guess we're going to watch a documentary on, and if this doesn't last long enough, I've got other first-hand accounts in the wings.
This is the oldest account documented that I could find.
Sweet.
And anyways, so what we'll do is we'll listen to this first part of the story. It's just setting up the background, and then the rest of it we'll jump to later.
All right. Sounds awesome. Here we go.
early years of the 18th century, the Austrian Habsburg monarchy found itself embroiled in a bitter war with the regional powerhouse of the Ottoman Empire. From 1716 to 1718, in what is now known as the Austro-Turkish War, rival imperial forces conducted battle over the Balkans, leaving an estimated 80,000 dead in their wake. The short but violent conflict would culminate in the Austrian capture of Belgrade, forcing the Ottoman surrender and the signing of the Treaty of Passarowitz. With the Ottoman defeat, the Habsburgs expanded their empire into the Balkan region, the territories of Banat, Alentia, northern Bosnia, and Serbia, then falling under the flag.
Say that again?
The Habsburgs are still a operating family, like we were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah? Huh.
Yeah, they're one of those evil families.
They just never go away, do they? Oh, my
like
goodness.
vampires or something.
I know, it's weird. Weird.
Of the Austrian Eagle. With new kingdoms to their name and thousands of new subjects under their rule, the Habsburgs set about exploring the Balkan territories. Administrators, explorers, and cartographers were dispatched into the rugged, mountainous land, cataloging everything from geography, wildlife, and the unique social dynamics at play within the regions. Located along the banks of the mighty Danube River in northeastern Serbia, just outside the now capital city of Belgrade, the small fishing village of Kiseljevo welcomed one such adventurer in the summer of 1725. Provisar Frumbald, an imperial administrator, was already well into his journey, the humble village just one of dozens he was tasked with recording on his way through the Serbian kingdom. However, while studying this little town and its inhabitants, Frumbald would bear witness to what he considered a unique and rather grotesque sort of ritualistic practice. As Frumbald went about his duties, his attention was drawn to an angry crowd of villagers clustered in the town's modest cemetery. Intrigued, the administrator made his way to the burial grounds, nudging his way through the excited mob of people, trying to get a better look at what was happening. Finally breaking through the crowd, Frumbald was confronted with a sight both confusing and disturbing. The villagers appeared to be exhuming a corpse, a man recently deceased at about the age of 60. As the burial detail hoisted the man's body from his grave, Frumbald took note of how fresh the buried corpse appeared. The body, despite sporting a layer of dirt, still maintained a lively glow. The man's fingernails and hair likewise appeared healthy and intact. Surely, Frumbald thought, showing no signs of bloat or decay, the man couldn't have been buried more than a few hours before his arrival, or perhaps the day prior. What reason would they have, he then pondered, to be exhuming the body now? Quite an unusual practice. Still more strangely, he watched as the villagers grew increasingly riled, hurling curses and spiteful words towards the corpse that now lay on the ground. Others remained stoic, their hands tightly clasped, heads lowered in silent prayer. The bizarre scene made all the more eerie against the backdrop of the priest's passionate readings of scripture, and the crowd's jeering took a final, dark turn. Reaching into a small crate, one of the men retrieved two items, a sharpened stake carved of hawthorn wood, and a mallet. Placing the jagged end of the stake against the corpse's chest, Frumbald watched with bated breath as the man then raised the mallet high above his head. Taken aback by the horrifying display, staring at the wooden stake now deeply planted in the dead man's heart, the administrator couldn't help but be doubly startled by the tremendous amounts of fresh blood now pouring from the corpse's chest, mouth, and ears. Was this man even dead? How could a corpse without a beating heart produce so much blood? The administrator could have even sworn he heard the man issue a low, pained groan when being impaled. Increasingly baffled by the series of events, Frumbald watched as the men set about the final phase of their now apparently well-rehearsed ritual. The men lowered the bloody corpse back into the open grave before setting fire to it. The smell of burning hair and flesh quickly filled the graveyard, the crowd having now become transfixed and eerily silent. As the flames devouring the man's corpse climbed high into the darkening sky, Frumbald asked his guide about what he had just witnessed. Who was the dead man, and why did his corpse deserve such unusual and seemingly spiteful treatment. The guide, hesitant and pale with fright, explained that they had just witnessed the final execution of what was called a vampire. Observing his look of confusion at the term, the man explained, "A vampire, a foul, unholy, and predatory spirit who stalks the earth with an insatiable thirst for human blood."
Dun dun dun.
Why is this called Wartime Stories if we're talking about a vampire?
Yeah. Well, his channel is Wartime Stories.
Is this
That's his
another
channel.
one? Another story?
So-
Because that's one story. Two story.
It goes on. Basically, he goes through and wipes out an entire village because he comes back to life. And then if you want to jump to when the military steps in, it's at
Wait,
17.
the traveler guy kills the whole village?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Bro, this is a government cover-up story.
Yeah, and then if you want to
Maybe wanted that town.
Yeah, 1730 is when the military steps in.
Okay, well, let's finish the story. We won't bother with the analysis. You can watch his analysis because I'm pretty sure I know. I want to give the guy a bit of the doubt, but 9 times out of 10, it's always like, "Hey, these people that were alive during all the plagues didn't know what decomposition looked like," and I'm just like, "Shut up."
Yeah, that's kind of what he starts saying.
Yeah, they all say that, and they said it like I've got this book here. The Treatise on the Apparitions of Spirits and on Vampire Evidence. This is written in like the 1800s, maybe 1700s. Anyway, they say the same crap. It's like, these stupid villagers, they didn't know what rotting bodies looked like. It's like, you guys can't come up with an original argument for 200 years. Good grief. Anyway.
Yeah, sounds like a government cover-up story, and they just really wanted that town, or and then the people wouldn't comply, so they just killed them all.
You see,
They're like,
Cody.
they were vampires.
Yeah. See, Cody, that is a more believable theory than people alive during the plague not knowing what rotting bodies look like.
Right, yeah.
It's ridiculous. Anyway. So I didn't even watch it. Just for the record, call me Nostradamus. Trevor's watched this. I hadn't, and I called the ending before. Say no more. These people just regurgitate the same crap. Anyway. Okay.
I already fed you.
All right, let's finish.
Somebody needs to feed Gary, apparently.
Oh, yeah. I'm
a little hangry.
Yeah. All I've had is potato soup. I want to drink some blood or something. I don't know. Yeah.
You damn Irishman. You can't live off potatoes alone.
Scottish. Scottish racist. Anyway. I don't like potatoes. I like golf. Shut up.
Throw a little sour cream and cheese on it.
Some chives.
Some chives.
They're after me, Lucky Charms.
That's also Irish.
Same thing.
Go
We're all redheads.
Go get
We're all
the pot of
redheads.
gold at the end of the rainbow.
Oh man, that's funny. Okay, let's see. Let's hear about the cover-up part of the cover-up.
I'll cover you up.
Vampire.
Having retired to his evening quarters, Provisor Frumbald began making a detailed report of the day's events, a report which would later be published that same summer of 1725. This official government report is the first documented use of the word vampire in recorded history. Once published, the testimony of the Provisor
Published where? I want to read the story.
From Kisleyevo sent shockwaves
In that one
throughout the
published
Austrian
place.
Empire.
He literally
But who was
said
the
it while
dead
I was
man
asking
whose
him to
ritual-
say it. Hang on here. Let's do him repeat vampire.
So Frumbald began making a detailed report of the day's events, a report which would later be published that same summer of 1725. This official government report is the first documented use of the word vampire in recorded history. Once published, the testimony of the provisor, further expanded upon by the testimony of locals from Kislyevo, sent shockwaves throughout the Austrian Empire. But who was the dead man whose ritualistic impalement Frumbald witnessed? According to the document, while he still lived, this so-called vampire was a local man by the name of Petar Blagojevic.
Okay, I have heard this story.
10 weeks before Frumbald's arrival to the small town of Kislyevo,
I have this one, actually.
Petar, then a man of about 60 years of age, was laid to rest after a short bout with illness. In and of itself, this was no cause for concern. However, shortly following Petar's passing, something terrifying was unleashed upon the unsuspecting village. A string of mysterious deaths of several villagers took place in the week immediately following Petar's burial. One after the other, affected individuals would fall violently ill and then die within 24 hours. But far from being a normal bout of plague or illness, on their deathbeds, each victim uttered the same ominous testimony. Petar Blagojevic, at least a monstrous perversion of him, had appeared to them in their dreams, viciously strangling them to within an inch of their lives before they suddenly woke from the terrifying vision. And these were clearly no ordinary nightmares. Within 8 days of his burial, 9 more villagers were also dead, victims of what seemed nothing less than a repeating series of supernatural attacks. An unholy...
Say that again?
Astral projection.
You think they're astral projecting?
Vampires know how to do that crap.
Dead Peter was killing people, like what's Freddy Fingered
He's
guy?
Freddy Krueger in it.
Freddy Krueger, yeah.
Freddy Krueger in it, huh? Hang on a minute. I'm looking something up. Have we read this one?
Look it up.
Because we started talking about the Highgate.
Yeah, I'm not. I found this when we were doing the Highgate stuff.
Vampires is. Yeah, hang on a minute.
Did we already play this?
I'm pretty sure this is what I. No, this is Hungary. Okay.
Yeah, no, this is Austria. This
yeah, no,
story.
the one I wrote was from the one I read was from Hungary. A different
Were they
guy.
hungry vampires?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, from the Imperial Prosper Grants district. Yeah, that was no, this is Peter Bogulovich. Okay, no, so it is the same guy. So we've already done this one. We've already covered this story. Actually.
Oh, you mean vampire stories are all recycled bullshit?
No, it was what happened, what this guy isn't mentioning is that the priest who was doing the rite at the beginning, he wrote a letter to his like pope or whatever over the same guy, and he was like, dude, these guys made me exhume a body and take place in an exorcism, and I wouldn't have done it, but they're probably going to kill me if I didn't do it. So don't get me in trouble, please, because I was just humoring the crowd, is what the priest said. So that was his whole thing, was he was worried about, getting reprimanded by the church after the event. So this is actually very interesting because this guy's report is from a soldier from Austria, and the priest wrote his own report that got leaked to a paper at about the same time. That's fascinating. That's really fascinating.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I thought we went over Peter Bogulovich. The second I heard that name, I'm like, wait, I think we've read that one. But I hadn't read the military report. I'd read the newspaper article that got leaked because the priest had wrote his church. That's interesting. That's really interesting. So
intriguing, sir.
I don't know, Cody. What do you think? You think it's still a cover-up? You got two separate independent sources attesting the same thing.
That's pretty interesting. I mean, I guess I need to know more. Like, why did they bury him if they didn't think he was dead, kind of thing? Or they killed him and then buried him, and then he came back to life, or what?
Well, do you want to finish the story? Because I can tell you the story, or we could keep going with the video. You want to just keep going with the video?
Sure.
All right, let's finish this. This isn't. I'm suddenly very intrigued because this is a separate source from what we read the other week.
Scourge that, without intervention, seemed bound to continue. For the people of Kiselevo, there was never any doubt about what Petar was and how he needed to be dealt with. Unlike the newly arrived Austrians, the Serbs, alongside their other Slavic brethren, were well acquainted with identifying and disposing of vampiric creatures. If historical accounts are to be believed, Balkan peoples had been dealing with such entities for hundreds of years. In spite of the harsh laws in place that prevented the burning and staking of bodies under the guise of witchcraft, the villagers continued in this gruesome practice. For them, upon exhuming the long-departed Petar, the telltale signs of vampirism were plainly evident. Despite being dead and buried for 10 weeks, Petar's flesh maintained its lifelike color, while his fingernails and hair continued their growth. Perhaps the most damning evidence came in the form of fresh blood smeared about the dead man's mouth. Proof, the villagers thought, of the very life drained from their murdered citizens.
See, that's called
Killing a
keying up
vampire
the stupid
was a solemn
explanation.
and grisly task. Prayers are recited before a sharpened stake, carved of hawthorn wood, is to be driven into the vampire's heart. The wood of the hawthorn tree had long been believed to possess certain spiritual and healing properties. In a final effort to rid the body of the vampire possession, the afflicted individual's remains are then burned. And with that, the vampire of Kiselevo was no more.
Dun dun dun.
So, I mean, what led up to...
Sorry, hang on.
What led up to them...
We gotta play the ad. All right, so what were we gonna say?
He's adding.
What led up to them killing Petar?
Okay.
Do you know?
Yes, I do. I just don't know if they're gonna explain it or not. They're just gonna go with what the military did to this poor town, apparently. Okay, so let me just lead up to it. So this guy, he was a soldier. This Peter Blagojevich was a soldier, right?
Okay.
And he claimed years and years ago that he had been attacked by a vampire. And he told the town this. And he was like, "Don't worry, I'm all better because I drank the vampire's ashes." So apparently he thought he was all better because he'd done a ritual to get rid of the bite. You know, he swore he was bit, but he'd done a ritual to get rid of the bite, so he thought he was good. Well, the guy dies, and then people start dying right afterwards. And it's the traditional, I think in this case, it's the traditional account, you know, people, you know, draining the blood, the slow lethargy. Basically, they'd all start saying they were having horrible hallucinations and horrible dreams, and then they'd get lethargic and die. Now, I'd be digressing. Basically, they all start dying in approximately the same way within a very brief span of time. So what they do, and this is what makes me mad because they never talk about this in the reports, and this is why the decomposition thing makes me mad because it's just a straight up lie. They didn't just look at his body and were like, "Oh, well, he's still got fresh blood. What the heck?" No, they were taking up all the people that had died at approximately the same time and comparing the decomposition rates of all the people that had died within that certain period. And the ones that were much fresher, discernibly so than the others, were the ones they labeled as vampires. So, yeah. So it's like all the other decomposition rates would be the same. And then you'd have like 4 or 5 of them that looked like they hadn't been dead for more than a couple days. And they'd kill those. And whenever that would happen, is they'd get the fresh blood. Now, here's another little detail that I've only read in one report. But there was also a white foam that would come out with the blood as well. So it was like this kind of pussy mixture of blood and pus, but the blood wasn't coagulated. That's why it's significant. So you had this kind of... Huh?
That's gross.
It is gross, but it's a detail if you're trying to figure out what actually happened. Because it's not just running blood, and a lot of it, you've got blood mixed with pus, whereas the blood should be coagulated, and it's not.
This sounds like you telling that little story that you just told. It made me think of COVID. Like one guy came into town with this rumor about vampires, you know, and then all of a sudden everybody is like, "Oh, I think I got the vampire-y thing." and so people just start getting sick. It's it's the fear is the sickness.
And that was the attitude people had in the 1800s. They were like, these people are just superstitious idiots. But they could never explain the decomposition issue. And so they came up with this stupid, these people don't know what the plague looks like, even though they were all dying, and like 60 would be considered old. You know, these weren't exactly healthy individuals. So they knew what decomposition looked like. That's just ridiculous. And Clement, the guy who wrote that book I showed, to his credit, he didn't buy that either. He attempted to explain it with like faux science from the 1800s. He was like, well, maybe there's different salt compositions, like, or different kinds of soil, and maybe the soils are affecting the decomposition rate somehow. It's a stupid theory, but they had to... It wasn't enough to just explain hair and fingernails growing, because everybody understood people knew what people looked like when they died. So they couldn't figure out the blood thing, and the blood thing was really a big deal, which is why everybody brings it up, because it should have been coagulated in any case. It shouldn't have had the pus and the blood mixture. So people don't know. There is an interesting theory in that treatise book that is like, it suggests, he was like, okay, the guy who wrote it was like, these people were incredibly malnourished. Now, he's also assuming these people are dumb, too. But to his credit, he's not just saying that. He's basically like, these people are very malnourished. Like, they're making soup out of bark. That's how malnourished they are. So, if you've got some kind of toxin in their food, maybe what's going on is they're hallucinating as they start to get sick, and then they die 2 or 3 days later, and this pus and blood mixture is a result of something they're eating.
Yeah.
Which is the most plausible theory I've heard, but you never hear it from these jackwagons. Which annoys me, because it shows nobody's actually reading anything. Like, I've had this for a week, and I've discovered something that every one of these stupid videos hasn't had. It's like everybody just kind of like regurgitates crap because nobody reads firsthand sources anymore. It annoys me.
Yeah, you're right. That's true.
So, yeah, sorry. I need my potato soup. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Try some meat this time.
Yeah, try some meat.
Potatoes might just make you angry.
Yeah, maybe they may just make me angry. Yeah. So, anyhow, it's not that I believe in vampires. I just really hate it when people recycle stupid things that don't make any sense because it's all they've heard.
Yeah.
So
you just hand wave something off and use the party line, you know.
Yeah, well, like if you're somebody
lazy.
Yeah, it's lazy.
Journalism.
It's lazy. Exactly, it's lazy. I hate lazy. So like in the name of like if you're interested in science, you don't discount people, because even if they have a wrong theory, when people tell you symptoms and people tell you patterns of behavior, the stuff that is similar all throughout is the stuff you hone in on. Because these people are in different regions, they're not talking to each other, but they're all saying the same basic things. And so those are the things you suss out, and you look, okay, what could cause hallucinations, lethargy, death within a 3 or 4 day period of time?
Mushrooms.
Possibly. Yeah, maybe they were making a mushroom soup that wasn't good for them. I don't know.
Mushrooms off the bark?
Yeah, but what you don't do...
Those are good.
Yeah. But what you don't do is you don't assume people are stupid and just wave it off. Because you'll never solve anything that way. It just... Yeah. I could rant and rant and rant. But anyway.
Yeah.
Well, weren't they actually smarter back then than we are now?
Oh, I think so. I always use this example.
Depending on what context, I mean.
Yeah.
Think about it like
how
this.
to make medicines out of the woods, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me put it to you like this. The Federalist Papers were written for drunk corn farmers in taverns. We study them in college.
Right,
yeah.
We're kind of morons. And we think we're smarter because we can turn on a light bulb. It's like, oh, yeah, try making one.
Well, I have an iPhone.
Yeah.
Try making...
That makes me smart.
Yeah, exactly.
Try making a light bulb without any reference.
Yeah, exactly. How do you create a vacuum inside of a glass shell? Can you do that? Because that's what you need.
Suck on it?
Yeah.
You go...
Yeah, just suck really hard on the glass. You might see a vampire. Anyway.
Or a werewolf.
Yeah, so it's just anyway. But Trevor, this was a good find because that's a separate source for the same event that I hadn't come across. So that's very interesting. That's very interesting. So yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else I might have read in there that might have been interesting. The one thing I do have this theory, and I'm not saying I believe it. I'm saying it's a theory. I do wonder if it is like a demonic kind of manifestation because if you look at the patterns, if you're just looking for pattern recognition, what's interesting is you get the same pattern, whether it's like vampires, ghosts, night terror, possession type things, and alien abductions, and that is like hallucinations, some kind of strange, indefinable marking, lethargy, night terrors, And so I wonder if there's like there might be a spiritual component to it because that hallucination with the physical marks thing, regardless of the manifestation, because what we always say here, demons mimic. And they mimic the thing that's going on at the time. These people were scared of the plague. And so the monster of the day was something that was symbolic of a plague, spread very easily and all the rest of it. So, yeah, whatever the entities are targeting is going to look like whatever they're afraid of. Now, it's aliens. If you go and you listen to abduction stories, they're very similar to like demonic encounters or even these vampiric things. You've got somebody sitting on top of you, you can't move, you get a marking on you. I wonder if there's maybe it's just mimicry on the part of the bad guys.
I think you're onto something. It's like all we have to fear is fear itself. It's like that demon is going to take whatever. It's going to go with whatever conduit makes it scare you the most.
Yeah. It's going to play into your fear, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Or it could be a government cover-up. It was the CIA in 1725.
1725 CIA.
Or the AIC.
Yeah. They were a formidable force. Oh, boy. Well, I don't know. It's interesting, though. But the moral of the story is read firsthand sources because that's where the details are. Yeah. Don't just listen to this stuff because they're just regurgitating the same crap that was said on the History Channel. Mm-hmm. So
that's one thing you find with vampires. Like, there's not a lot of stories.
It's an interesting case because both the werewolves and the vampire stuff is it's in such a brief period of time and it's so localized. Yeah. It makes you think it's fake, but you'd still have to account for the physical anomalies, which is what is strange. But they are clearly a reaction to like a local event. And then the conversation gets really confused and kind of annoying because basically once you get that pop culture villain, then everything that even remotely like resembles it becomes a vampire. So, for example, I think it's the Banshee. There's a certain monster in South America I'm thinking of. It's basically a woman who rips herself in half and flies around with her intestines hanging out, and she bites people. So that makes her a vampire. I'm like, I don't think that's a vampire. Yeah, and the chupacabra is a vampire. Like, everything becomes a vampire just because it's what people recognize as marketing. So, and that confuses it.
That's a good way to put it, marketing.
Yeah.
Like Mothman was really popular for a while, so everybody saw the Mothman.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, are we going to do a video on Mothman next?
I hope not.
Oh.
I mean, that one is pretty...
West Virginia, take me home.
Because there's that CIA...
that CIA thing?
Or whatever, where they created the Mothman, allegedly, or whatever.
Chimera? It's a chimera? I think that's what they're called. Yeah. So, maybe, I don't know. We could talk about it. There's also the Jersey Devil. That was a big thing for forever.
Ooh.
It was like a camel head or something, like a little dragon. It's like the goofiest monster I've ever even seen. It like
Was
had like
curious.
little goat hooves of a camel head and little dragon wings. I'm like,
A camel head? Did he smoke cigarettes?
I
Like
mean, he
on
must have. He must have. I don't know. Like that is one top heavy monster. So
I can just imagine a monster standing there with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. What's up, man? I got a camel for my head. Got a camel head.
right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that's about it. You got any final
Heck
thoughts?
I don't think so.
Thank you for final thoughting.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to end the live stream tonight. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
And we will see you next time.
Later, y'all.
Bye.